Okay, so very happy to announce that I am launching a productivity app for Scrum. The idea is to create a simple, minimalistic productivity app. And so all of you can have this code on your computer and make changes to the code. It will be open source. So look, you create a new workspace. There is a sprint in Scrum. So for example, you add, I'm creating a Skillshare class. And you put create Skillshare is built on Node.js, and I'm going to teach you in this tutorial how to build an app like this, or you can get the code links description. So you create the workspace, then you can enter the workspace and you can add a task. So for example, get top 5 videos for class with ChatGPT. So we create the task, and the task you can click on here and you can add to busy if you are doing this task, and when you finish the task you can click here on done. All this application was made using Firebase Studio and ChatGPT and Sora. So now let's start this tutorial, and if you want this code, it will be on the description, okay? So you can make changes and you can collaborate to build the better Scrum productivity app. Thanks. Okay, so let's see what are the best practices for building a prompt using images, the data model, and the text prompt, okay? Okay, for this tutorial, we're going to use ChatGPT with Firebase Studio. The idea is to use this as dual force for the workflow for crafting better app prompts. So the idea is prompt lab precision. The idea is to use natural language specs with Firebase's app prototyping agent to create clearer text, clearer UI and backend. The idea is that you have the idea of zero cost iteration. Polish the wording in ChatGPT and Gemini as much as you like, then hand the final draft to Firebase. Iterate to build better prompts. Important to say that Gemini 2.5 has vision APIs like Vertex AI. This AI exposes endpoints for captioning, layout recognition, component extraction, and visual questioning answering, all powered by the same, okay? And design first with Sora. The idea is to use, okay, and design the UI UX with Sora. The idea is to prototype with one paragraph or more the UI mockups, component trees, so the tailwind and the CSS. Okay, so how to build a prompt spec? The idea is to create a data model with collections and fields, indexes, documents, so the data connect schemas, and you can create a clean data structure. Also important for the UI and UX, we're going to use Sora. So the idea is to distribute the elements, spatial cues that align CSS. And the detailed text prompt is natural language. So the idea is to explain Gemini how to create the component, how to communicate with APIs and use Firebase services and Google Cloud services. Okay, so the quality of the code generated by your application depends on the prompt. So be specific. So for example, if you are trying to create an app with 3D elements, you may want to ask Gemini to use Next.js. The application generated in Firebase Studio cannot actually set up services, enable APIs, or provision resources like cloud storage, bucket, etc., or an Stripe account. So you will need to ask Gemini how to set up the services. Use Gemini to refine your prompt. You need to enter to code view, and then you can refine manually or by prompting. Provide context. Include background information about your app's purpose, target audience, and the user experience you want. Use examples. If possible, provide examples of how users should interact with the app or what data should be displayed. Iterate and refine. The idea is you can start with some basic 3 features, and then you can add a new feature, test it, refine it, and then you can add another feature. So it's like a building block, a pyramid. So it's important to generate a strong prompt at the beginning to have strong foundations. Okay, so we are building a productivity app with Scrum. So the idea is that it's practical, that you adapt, learn fast, and fix fast. There are 3 roles in Scrum. The product owner sets the vision, the developers build, and the Scrum Master coach the developers. The idea is that you increment, so you add value continuously in each sprint. And a sprint is a time frame relatively short. It can be less than 1 month. It is recommended to be less than a month. It can be 1 week or 2. And the artifacts. The idea is to build a product, so the sprint backlog is going to be the incremental features that you are adding until you finish the product. Okay, the idea is that the Scrum uses empiricism. The idea is to be transparent with the stakeholders, with the owners of the business, use inspection and adaptation to fast iterate. There are 3 roles in Scrum. As we say, the product owner is the one that sets the product vision. Developers build the product, and the Scrum Master coaches everyone in Scrum. Time-boxed events. The idea is to continuously repeat sprints. The duration of a sprint can be 1 month, usually 1 to 2 weeks. Each sprint contains 5 fixed lengths. Meetings that keep momentum. The sprint planning, less than 8 hours. Daily Scrum, 15 minutes. Sprint review, less than 4 hours. The sprint retrospective, less than 3 hours. The short time boxes force, focus, and cut waste. There are 3 artifacts. The idea is to build a product, so everything we might build is the product backlog. The product goal, the sprint backlog, is the sprint plans, and the increment, the working product with its definition of done. Each artifact plus commitment keeps everyone aligned on why, what, and when value will be delivered. The increment is equal to done value. At least once every sprint, the team produces a usable increment, a real shippable slice that stacks on the top of all previous slices. Stakeholders can touch it or even release it immediately, turning learning into business value fast. Okay, but why Scrum delivers in short, repeating deadlines? Sprints are progressive deadlines. Scrum works in fixed length sprints, less than 1 month, usually 1 to 2 weeks, as we previously see. Each sprint sets a mini deadline to finish a slice of the product, shipping in small, regular chunks. It cuts the risk early. Problems surface within days, not months. Speeds feedback. Stakeholders see real software every sprint and can redirect priorities before big budgets are spent. Build a release-ready cadence. Because the increment must meet the definition of done, you can go live the same day if the business wants. Why artifacts keep everyone aligned? The product backlog, the product goal, is the single order list of future value. It's the source of truth for what will come in the future sprints. The sprint backlog is the current plan. Developers pull just enough items they believe they can finish inside the sprint's deadline. Definition of done. The tangible deliverable produced by the deadline, a working usable piece that adds to everything shipped before. Each new increment is stacked onto prior ones, growing product value step by step. Purpose in a nutshell. Transparency first. The idea is to be transparent with the owners of the project, with the stakeholders. Empirical control. The idea is to have fresh increments, short cycle scaled sprints with continuous improvement of the product. Unpredictable momentum. Repeating deadline builds rhythm. Manage knows when expect demos, users know when to expect upgrades, and teams stay focused on near-term goals without losing sight of the big product goal. To create this app, I created this short description. So the idea is to create an overall app, a simple minimalistic productivity app with a Scrum that uses a simple Firebase out, send email passwordless, and let you create open boards, workspaces. When you open a custom board, you are able to create tasks and assign them and status, to do, busy, or done. You can also drag and drop tasks to other columns, and when dropped, they update. The UI and UX screens. So the idea, this is the homepage. It's very simple, an email, and you click on sign in. Then you have the boards. You can create a new workspace or open an existing one. And if you open a board or a workspace with a custom ID, you have all the task title, the task description, and the task status: to do, busy, and done. You can click on add task. This is a basic 3-screen foundation for the app to start strong and then add more features. Okay, so this is the prompt I used on Sora to generate this image. The idea is to help the UI with vision, so the app knows how to distribute all the elements, okay? Okay, so for the workspace data model, I use Firestore. So the idea is to save on this collection with the user ID as document, then the workspace, and then the workspace ID. And the workspace object has a name, description, created at with timestamp, and updated at. So as you can see, workspace, user ID, workspace, and workspace ID. So here I can see that this user has 2 workspaces, and you can see the created at, name, updated at, and the user who owns this. Okay, so this is the data model for tasks. The idea is to have a collection named workspaces, the same, the user ID, workspace, workspace ID, the task, and the task ID. And it's an object with title, description, status can be to do, busy, or done, and a Firestore timestamp. So if we go to workspace, we select a user, then a workspace, then a workspace ID, then we go to task, and this workspace has 3 tasks. So you can see the status, description, title, updated at, the user who owns it, when it was created, and the workspace ID, okay?